time feels unavoidable. It presses itself into every moment of experience so completely that imagining reality without it feels like trying to imagine color without light or sound without vibration. We trust time more than almost any other aspect of the universe because it appears to explain everything we care about: movement, growth, decay, causation, memory, and identity. A thing exists, then it changes, then it becomes something else, and time seems to be the invisible river carrying all of it forward. Clocks confirm this belief with relentless precision, slicing existence into equal units and reassuring us that the universe progresses in an orderly sequence. Motion only makes sense because something was here and then it was there. Aging only makes sense because a body once was younger. Even logic itself seems anchored to temporal order, where causes precede effects and explanations arrive after questions. Because every conscious experience we have unfolds as a sequence, time feels less like a property of the universe and more like the backbone of reality itself, something so fundamental that removing it seems equivalent to removing existence altogether. Yet this certainty is deeply tied to how human brains evolved rather than to how the universe must operate. Our nervous systems are prediction machines shaped by survival, not truth, and survival favors creatures that can anticipate change. To do that, the brain must track sequences, store memory, and compare past states to present ones. The sensation of time flowing is not simply observed, it is actively constructed. Every moment you experience is stitched together from memory fragments and sensory input, arranged into a coherent narrative that feels continuous. Without memory, there is no past, and without expectation, there is no future, only an eternal present that cannot be navigated. Time, as you feel it, emerges from this mental stitching process. This makes time feel intimate, personal, inseparable from identity itself. You are who you are because of what you remember and what you anticipate, and both rely on a perceived temporal structure. From this perspective, time feels not just real but necessary, because without it, the self dissolves. Physics reinforces this intuition at everyday scales. Newtonian mechanics treats time as a universal backdrop against which motion unfolds, a steady, absolute parameter ticking forward the same for everyone. Cause leads to effect, forces produce acceleration, and predictions become possible precisely because time behaves reliably. Even when Einstein replaced absolute time with relative time, stretching and compressing depending on speed and gravity, time remained woven into the fabric of reality. Space-time did not eliminate time, it elevated it, giving it geometric structure and physical consequences. Clocks slow down near massive objects, fast-moving travelers age differently, and simultaneity becomes relative. All of this seems to confirm that time is not an illusion, but a measurable, dynamic component of the universe. When physics predicts something and experiments confirm it, our trust in time deepens. If time can bend and dilate, it must be real, because illusions do not obey equations so precisely. But this confidence hides a subtle assumption that because time appears in our descriptions of reality, it must exist at the deepest level of reality itself. This assumption is rarely questioned because questioning it feels destabilizing. If time is not fundamental, then what anchors causation, meaning, and existence? Much of science relies on equations that describe how systems evolve over time, so time appears indispensable. Yet at a deeper level, many of the most fundamental equations do not actually require time in the way we think they do. They describe relationships between states, not processes unfolding in a universal present. Time often enters as a parameter chosen for convenience, not because the universe demands it. This distinction is subtle but profound. It suggests that time may be a way of organizing information rather than a basic ingredient of reality, a coordinate we impose to make sense of patterns that could exist without flow. The assumption that time must exist is also reinforced by causality, the idea that causes come before effects. This ordering feels non-negotiable because it underlies responsibility, prediction, and control. If effects could precede causes, the universe would feel incoherent, yet causality itself may not require time as we experience it. In some interpretations of physics, causality emerges from the structure of relationships between events rather than from a flowing temporal medium. Events are ordered not because time pushes them forward, but because certain configurations logically depend on others. This kind of ordering can exist in a timeless structure, much like the logical order of steps in a mathematical proof exists all at once, even though we read it sequentially. The necessity of reading step by step does not mean the proof itself unfolds in time. It exists as a complete object. Our interaction with it creates the sensation of progression. Our emotional attachment to time further clouds the question. Time gives weight to moments because they feel fleeting. Meaning often comes from impermanence, from the knowledge that experiences cannot be repeated exactly. Love matters because it can be lost. Choices matter because they close off alternatives. And life matters because it ends. A timeless universe seems to threaten this structure of meaning, as if freezing everything would drain significance from existence. But this reaction may confuse the experience of time with its ontological status. Even if the universe is timeless at a fundamental level, conscious beings within it could still experience sequences, memory, and loss. The emotional reality of time does not require time to exist as a universal flow any more than the experience of color requires wavelengths to feel the way they do. Meaning arises from experience, not from metaphysical guarantees. The brain's reliance on time is so complete that even perception itself depends on it. Sensory input arrives asynchronously. The brain integrates signals over small windows to create the illusion of a unified present. What you perceive as now is already a constructed blend of moments that occurred fractions of a second apart. This means the present is not a point but a process, a temporal smoothing that hides discontinuities. The fact that consciousness already operates on delayed, integrated information suggests that our experience of time is less direct than it feels. We do not perceive time. We infer it from change and memory. If nothing changed and no memory existed, time would disappear from experience entirely. This raises the possibility that time is not something we detect, but something we generate in order to make sense of difference. Even our language reveals how deeply time structures thought. We describe existence using verbs that imply action and progression. We speak of things happening, processes unfolding, futures approaching. Grammar itself encodes time through tense, forcing us to place events on a temporal axis. This makes it difficult to even articulate a timeless reality without smuggling time back in through metaphor. When we try to imagine a universe without time, we often imagine frozen motion, as if everything were paused. But paused already implies time that has stopped. A truly timeless universe would not be static in the usual sense. It would simply be complete, containing all its structure without needing to unfold. Our difficulty imagining this says more about cognitive limits than about what reality allows. Historically, time was treated as sacred long before science formalized it. Ancient cultures associated time with gods, cycles, and cosmic order. Calendars regulated agriculture, rituals, and social life, embedding time into civilization itself. This cultural weight reinforces the intuition that time is fundamental, not optional. Modern society intensifies this by quantifying time into productivity, efficiency, and deadlines. Time becomes something you spend, save, or waste, further reifying it as a substance rather than a description. When physics challenges the fundamentality of time, it is not just challenging an equation, but an entire worldview built on temporal trust. Yet cracks appear when we look closely at the foundations of physics. In attempts to unify general relativity with quantum mechanics, time behaves strangely or disappears entirely from the equations. In some formulations, there is no variable corresponding to time at all, only relationships between configurations. This is not because physicists forgot time, but because at that level, nothing seems to move or change in the way we expect. The universe is described as a space of possible states, all existing together with no privileged now. Time re-emerges only when certain states are compared from the perspective of observers embedded within them. This suggests that time may be emergent, like temperature, which does not exist at the level of individual particles but arises from collective behavior. The unsettling implication is that our strongest intuitions about reality may be artifacts of how we observe rather than how the universe is. We assume time must exist because our experience collapses without it, but experience is not a reliable guide to ontology. The universe does not owe us intuitiveness. Just as the Earth feels stationary despite moving through space, time may feel fundamental despite being derivative. The trust we place in time may reflect its usefulness, not its primacy. It organizes experience efficiently, allowing complex systems like minds to function, but usefulness does not equal fundamentality. If space can exist without time, then our assumption that time must exist becomes a hypothesis rather than a certainty. The flow we experience may be a cognitive interface, a way of navigating a reality that is, at its core, timeless. This does not make time unreal in a trivial sense. It makes it relational, dependent on perspective. Just as the horizon is real to an observer but not a physical boundary in space, time may be real to consciousness without being a universal feature of existence. Questioning time is not about denying experience, but about separating experience from structure. By examining why we assume time must exist, we begin to see how deeply that assumption is rooted in biology, psychology, language, and culture, rather than in necessity. Time feels inevitable because it is how we function, remember, and care. But the universe may not share our needs. The stage is set, then, for a more disturbing possibility. That beneath the flowing river of moments we inhabit lies a reality that does not flow at all, a universe that simply is. At the deepest levels of modern physics, time begins to behave less like a foundation and more like a convenience, a parameter we insert to make equations readable rather than something the universe insists upon. This is shocking because physics is often imagined as the ultimate authority on what is real, and for centuries it treated time as indispensable. Yet when physicists strip reality down to its most fundamental descriptions, time quietly fades from the mathematics. In quantum gravity, for example, attempts to unify Einstein's geometry of space-time with quantum mechanics repeatedly produce equations that do not evolve in time at all. The Wheeler-DeWitt equation, one of the most famous results in this effort, describes the universe without any explicit reference to time. Nothing ticks forward, nothing unfolds, and nothing happens in the way we intuitively understand. Instead, the universe is described as a complete configuration, a total structure. This is not a philosophical trick, but a mathematical outcome, suggesting that time may not be woven into the universe's deepest fabric. This absence of time is not because physicists are careless, but because at the fundamental scale, the usual idea of temporal flow loses meaning. In general relativity, time is already flexible, bending and slowing depending on gravity and motion. There is no single cosmic clock ticking for the universe as a whole. When this flexibility is pushed to its limit, especially at the Planck scale where space-time itself becomes unstable, time can no longer be cleanly defined. The equations still work, but they describe relationships rather than sequences. Instead of saying one state becomes another, they simply describe which states are allowed to coexist. This shift is subtle but radical. It replaces a story of evolution with a map of possibilities. The universe, in this view, does not run like a movie. It exists more like a completed image, with all its structure present at once, even if observers inside it experience only fragments. One reason this idea feels so counterintuitive is that we confuse the usefulness of time with its fundamentality. Time is extraordinarily useful for describing processes, predicting outcomes, and organizing experience. But usefulness does not guarantee that it exists at the deepest level. Consider how temperature behaves in physics. Temperature is a powerful concept that explains heat flow and equilibrium, yet it does not exist for individual particles. It emerges only when many particles are considered together. Similarly, time may emerge only when complex systems like observers, memories, and measurements appear. At the microscopic level, there may be no arrow, no flow, only a static landscape of states. When enough structure exists to compare one configuration to another, time is born as a relational concept. The universe itself may not age, but observers within it do. Some of the most unsettling implications come from the fact that many fundamental laws of physics are time-symmetric. They work just as well forwards as backwards. If you were to reverse the equations governing particles and fields, nothing in the mathematics would object. This symmetry suggests that the laws themselves do not prefer a direction of time.